Hey guys and girls, thanks so much for joining today. My name is Alex. I work at Verde, your fitness trainer and coordinator. Let's get into it. So we're going to work on our upper body, a little bit of our lower body, mobility, strength, balance, full body routine. You're going to need some dumbbells and a band. Just FYI. And of course, chair that you're sitting in, water bottle if you need it. Let's start with mobility. So we're going to start with one arm, just real big circle. And so just to give you a side view, you want to think about that arm traveling outside the chair, outside your body, and you're really trying to create as big of a circle as you can with your arm. Now, if it's a smaller, shorter range of motion type of circle, it's okay. Do the best you can. Make it as big as you can within your own comfort zone. All right, so don't force it. All right, so again, we're just trying to create movement in our shoulder area to loosen it up. We're trying to lubricate our joint, our shoulder joint, through movement. Now you're going to change directions. You're going to stick with that same arm, but we're just changing directions now. And so again, creating mobility through our movement, loosening up the shoulder. And you actually start to activate some muscles in your upper shoulder, your upper back, your upper arm. And that's okay. You're using those muscles to help initiate the movement. So you're getting a little bit of strength just by moving your arm. And you start to feel it in that upper shoulder, upper arm area. Other side, we need to even out now. Same thing. Again, real big circle. Again, not forcing it, just doing the best you can, getting a real big circle to the best of your ability. Now from there, change directions. Same arm, real big circle. Again, loosening up the shoulders. And you start to feel it in that upper arm, upper shoulder, upper back. You feel those muscles start to get a little tired and they're burning, they're working. It's good. You're creating a stimulus in your muscle, and at the same time, you're lubricating your shoulder joint, loosening it up a little bit so that you can maneuver a little bit more freely with that arm, with that shoulder the remainder of the day. Okay, moving on. Enough of that. That was a lot. Now let's work on the strength portion of it. So you're going to grab your band, okay, and you're going to stay in your chair. I'm going to rotate and turn so you can get a little bit of a side view. I'm going to have one leg forward. Now I'm going to get this band. I'm holding on to the ends, not the handles, but the ends of the band. And then I'm going to get that middle part of the band wrapped around the bottom of my foot. Now from there, I'm still grabbing the band, not the handles. The handles makes it too long and lengthy and we don't get enough tension. So we want a little bit more tension on our muscles. So we shorten up the grip or the length by grabbing the band. Your grip strength is actually working now, so sit as tall as you can. The other leg is bent and off to the side. One leg is straight, real tall. Shoulders. Lift them up, bring them back, then let them sink down. It should feel like your shoulders sink into place. From there, pull in the belly button, tighten up your stomach, and let's start pulling the band and stretching it out. Using your leg as an anchor. My straight leg is my anchor to hold that band in place. My foot is kind of pointing away from me so that it remains right around the bottom of my arch. Now my hands, pulling my hands right to the side of my ribs. Shoulders, again, you want to think about those shoulders staying down. So again, good practice with your shoulders is up, back, and then let them sink into place. Then start moving. And think about your elbows going out to the side. And as you bring your hands into your ribs, that's where you want to think about squeezing your shoulder blades together. And we pull in, squeeze together. Remember, you have to sit tall, right? So pull in the stomach, the belly button a little bit, tighten up the core, and just find a rhythm of breathing to coincide with your movement. Personally, I like to breathe in on the way out, exhale as I pull my hands towards my body. Breathe in as I go forward, exhale as I pull. Breathe in, exhale, pull in. As your arms go forward, breathe in, pull in the arms, and exhale, breathe outward. One more, last one, and take a little break. We'll come back to those so you can feel those upper back and postural muscles really working. It helps to bring those shoulders back. Now we want to continue with our shoulders being down and depressed. So we lift up, let them sink down into place. Hands holding on to the band again, right? You're having the ends of the band hang outside of your hands. From here, keep your arms angled low. And now we pull the band out to the side. Or we move our arms out to the side and we bring the band right into our stomach, below our chest. So we want to have our arms angled downward, below shoulder height. So one way to measure that is the band. Where is it touching? It should be well below your chest, right around mid, maybe top of your stomach, right in that area. But definitely below the chest. Now, there's nothing wrong with being at shoulder height. It's just a little bit more challenging to your shoulders. So you have options. This shoulder height position, a little bit more challenging. A little lower is a little safer on the shoulder. So if you have a little bit of shoulder issues, I would recommend angling your arms down and getting the band to touch below the chest. Now, as you bring your arms out to the side and you get that band to touch your body, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And so we're still working on strength for our upper back and our upper postural muscles. One more. All right, take a little break. Let's work with our feet for a little bit. We've done these before, I am sure. Perhaps inadvertently, just kind of out of boredom, we do some toe tapping. Now this is great for the front part of your shin. The tibialis anterior, it helps us pick up our feet when we walk. Now as you're lifting the toes, you keep the heels down. Posture's tall. Shoulders up and back and down. Pull in the stomach. And now your posture is set. You're sitting tall, shoulders are up and back and down, core is engaged. Just feel the feet. It should start to feel like your feet are getting heavy. Almost as if you're trying to move your feet in sand and lift them up and down. There's resistance there. That's what it feels like. Even though there really isn't. Maybe the weight of our shoe, gravity, the weight of our foot, that's what's working against us. But it should feel like it's getting really hard to lift the feet off the floor, the toes off the floor, right? Because the heels are down. So now let's do the opposite. Let's pick up the heels. Taking a little break here on that tibialis anterior. So now we raise the heels up, and then the toes are staying down. Heels are going up and down. Again, minding your posture. Sit tall, engage your core, shoulders up and back. Keep working. Almost there. All right. Take a little break. Let's work on ankle mobility. Just easy circles. We already did a little bit of ankle mobility with our feet going up and down, toes going up and down, and then the heels going up and down. But now this circular motion that we're doing creates that inner and outward ankle mobility. Change directions, same foot. Usually the second direction is a little bit more awkward and more challenging to maneuver, but it's okay, you do what you can. And ankle mobility, through movement, we are creating mobility through the ankle. Working those muscles as well in that ankle, shin, calve area, the lower leg area below the knee. All those little muscles you start to feel as you're moving that foot in a circle. Other side. So we use muscles to generate our movement, to help create mobility, in an effort to help decrease pain, prevent injury, loosen us up if we're feeling a little stiff and tight. Sometimes the stiffness and tightness will lead to these joint pains, muscle pains. And if you can just try to loosen them up a little, sometimes that gives you a little bit of relief. Change directions, but it's not a one-time fix. It's something that you have to do regularly as part of maintenance for your body. It's pretty challenging. But you're here, you're doing it right now, so that's important. And continue to work with me. Continue to move in a circle with that foot. And a few more revolutions, you start to feel that burn in the lower leg, and stop. Back to those banded rows. They're called seated rows. We're gonna do it one more time. And honestly, it really doesn't matter which leg you decide to use. Either or is fine. Now remember, leg is straight, band is around the bottom of the foot, the arch, holding onto the band. Not the handles, but the band. Shoulders up and back and down. Engage your core, sit real tall. And bring those elbows out to the side and your hands to your ribs. Try to touch your ribs with your thumb, the knuckle of your thumb. And you bring it in. Sitting real tall, squeeze. Sit tall, squeeze. And you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. Right? Squeeze them together as you bring those elbows back. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath. Find a rhythm of breathing. We like to breathe. Usually during the exertion, you exhale. So when you exert strength, whether it's pushing or pulling, when you exert that strength to move, that's when you want to breathe out. So our exerting of strength is pulling in, and we breathe out. Breathe in as we go forward, exert strength and exhale. Breathe in, exhale, pull. Just a few more. Continue to sit tall. Continue to engage your core. Keep those shoulders back and down. 2, last one, and stop. All right, moving on. Sitting real tall again. Good posture, shoulders up and back and down. Holding on about shoulder width apart. You have quite a bit of slack hanging outside the hands. Engage your core. We're going to pull that band apart and squeeze those shoulder blades together. Squeeze, 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 and down. Squeeze, and down. Squeeze, and down. Squeeze. Squeeze. Sitting real tall. Tighten up that stomach. Now breathe. As we bring our arms back, we breathe out. Breathe in as the arms go forward. Exhale as the arms go out. Breathe in. Exhale. Out. And we keep working through that range of motion, working on those postural muscles. A lot of these two moves, the one that we did previously and the one that we're currently doing, really helps to provide shoulder stability, shoulder strength, as well as your posture. It helps promote good posture. 2 more. Last one. Okay, good job. Moving on. We don't need that band anymore. We're gonna use 1 dumbbell. And we're gonna go a little old school, but we're gonna keep it basic, but still old school. We're gonna use our legs to help us with a bicep curl. This is a very old school move. Great for the biceps, forearms. Now, you can see my stance is wide. My legs are wide. I'm gonna rest my left arm on my left leg. The weight is on the floor. I'm gonna pick up that weight. Now my right arm is straight, and it's actually in tight to my right inner thigh. And my elbow is right against my inner thigh. All I have to do is curl. So I bring the weight up towards my chin clavicle area, and then right back down. And your leg, my right leg, because my right arm is working, my right leg is my stabilizer. My right leg is keeping my arm fixed in place. And the only thing I'm doing is bending at the elbow, bringing the weight up right underneath my chin, and then back down. And I'm leaning forward a little. I have some weight on my thigh with my free arm, and I'm just bringing that weight up, and it's just a little bicep curl. Biceps are very important for when we hold things with a bent arm in front of us, right? Whether it's a book, a remote control, a cocktail, a beverage, maybe a deck of cards, whatever it may be. When you're holding on to something and your arm is bent, the bicep is usually the primary mover, the instigator for that action of the arm. 1 more. Okay, change, other side. So I just kind of shift my body a little bit. I'm still kind of close to the edge of my chair. And so I'm leaning into my right leg with my right elbow. My left arm is free. I'm gonna grab the weight with my left arm, and I turn my hand out. Elbow is bent, and it's against my inner thigh on my left side now. So my left arm is working, and my left elbow is right against my left leg. And my left leg is keeping my left arm stable and still, and I curl, bringing that weight underneath my chin. Right there, underneath the chin, and back down. Underneath the chin, and right back down. Now the challenge is trying to keep moving with the arm. You lower, come right back up. Lower, come right back up. So you're not trying to pause. The only time you pause is when you change directions, going down, pausing for a brief second to come back up. So it's just that initial change of direction from downward movement to upward movement. That's where we millisecond pause just to change direction. And you start to feel the bicep. Let's do 2 more. All right, let's do that one last time. Last one. I'm gonna turn a little bit so that I can lean heavy on my left arm and left leg. My right hand grabs the weight, my right elbow against my right inner thigh. Bring the weight up underneath the chin. Palm is facing out at the bottom. Then it comes and faces in at the top. as you curl. One more, last one. All right, put that down and we transition. We kind of shift a little bit in the legs, our body, right elbow on top of that right thigh, left arm, working against now the left inner thigh, curl. Try to keep that elbow against the inner thigh. Minimize the movement of the upper arm. And just curling that weight right underneath the chin. Last one. Okay. I'm going to give you a side view. We're going to work on our core. We're going to continue to use this weight. Now, I'm going to give you some options. The weight can be optional and your body weight would be enough to create resistance. So, let's first demonstrate or work through it without any weight. You're going to have your hands right in front of your chest. Kind of like you're praying, whatever works, just in front of your body. Sit as tall as you can. Legs are out in front of you. You're sitting kind of close to the edge of the chair. Sit tall, engage your core, shoulders are up and back. Now the challenge is going as far back as you can without back pain. If you can lightly touch the back of your chair, perfect. Then come forward and sit real tall. Now I'm talking a light touch. Okay, now if you can't quite go back all the way, for whatever reason, maybe your back starts to hurt, or you feel like your feet are lifting up, which may happen, shorten up your range of motion. Don't go back as far. Don't lean back as much. So perhaps try about halfway, keep the heels grounded, sit up nice and tall. So, a couple of options. Arms out is a little easier, right? It assists you to get up. So when you come back, it's a little easier to get back, and it's a little easier to come out of that reclined position and get tall again. So having those arms forward is one option. The next level up, the next progression up is having the hands right in front of the chest. This makes it a lot more challenging. Engage your core. Tighten up the stomach. Nice and easy coming back. Take your time. Easy. Now if you want more of a challenge, we grab the weight. Then we hold on to it with two hands. One dumbbell, two hands. I like to hold it horizontally. It's the easiest way to do it. But again, this weight is optional. Your body weight, your upper body, provides the resistance to your core as you go back. Flex the stomach, tighten it up, get nice and tall at the top. Tall posture, sit real tall. Once you're up and vertical, get real tall. Shoulders up and back, pull in the belly button. Easy, coming back. Control. Focus on keeping that stomach nice and tight. Now, keep going. On the next one, I want you to find a place where you can lean back and hold it. Hold it. Hold it there. So you need to find that comfortable angle with your body reclining backwards. Stay with it. Now I want you to turn, twist from the waist. You're always leaning back, but we're turning our body like we're trying to look behind us. Right? Imagine You're in a car, right? You have that seatbelt across your chest. You can't really lean to the right or the left, right? If you're driving, you can't lean to the left because the door is there. If you're driving and you try to lean to the right, can't quite do it because the passenger's there or the center console's in the way. So think about twisting. You're leaning back, then twist. Don't let your body touch the chair behind you other than the arm. That elbow is going to try to aim for the chair behind you. So we're always leaning back, our heels stay down. I know this is tough, you can take your breaks as needed. We are almost done. Continue to flex your stomach, pull in the belly button. After your break, you can continue to jump in and join me, get back to your core move. You can sit a little taller if your back is hurting, right? That's how we modify the low back pain or discomfort. Sit taller. Engage your core. Just a few more. Here we go. 3, 3. We got to even out on both sides. 2, 2. Last one. 1 and 1. Okay. Done with that. Let's use our body weight now for resistance. As much as we hate to do these, we need to do them. Chair squats. Getting up and down from a chair. Now, if you have an arm bar, side view, you can use your hands, but before you start that, notice how I'm leaning forward a little bit. Notice that 90 degrees in my knees. My knee is above my ankle, my heel. I'm gonna push into my hands and into the arm bar, and I'm gonna use my legs to stand all the way up. Now to sit back down, that chair hasn't moved, but use your fingers. Push out your bum. Hands are reaching back. Grab the arm bar slowly. Use your arms and legs to lower yourself down. And then we get back up again. I know these are tough and they can be annoying, but it's functional. We stand from a seated position all the time. So if we can practice it outside of our daily normal life requirement, like getting up from the toilet or from a dining chair, it'll make things a little easier. So if we work hard on it now, it should make what you do for the rest of the day just a little bit more easier, more manageable. Let's just do one more. Okay, easy coming down. I want you to stand all the way up and we're gonna stay standing. All right, moving on. We're gonna use our chair. Now we have to maneuver and get behind our chair. Now I'm gonna move my chair forward, but for you at home, you'll just walk around. Hands on top of the back of your chair, and we're gonna focus on calf raises. Heels coming up. We are almost done with this workout, guys and girls. After this, we're gonna work on a little balance and then we're done. So giving you a little bit of everything. The squats, we're using our body weight for resistance. Calf raise, we're using our body weight as resistance. So we're doing resistance training, even if it's just our body weight. And so we continue to lift the heels up, your feet maybe 5-6 inches apart. They call it having it hip width apart. So your feet are directly underneath your hips. They're in alignment with each other. So for example, your right hip is underneath your right foot. Your left hip is above, I should say, above your left foot. So your hips are above your knees, which are above the ankles. And so they call that stacking the joints. So we're stacking the ankle joint. On top of that is the knee joint. On top of that are our hip joints. So everything is in alignment and we're hip width apart with our feet. And so that's how we work through this move, trying to raise those heels up as tall as we can or as high up as we can. Again, continuing to think about your posture and your core. Now let's get into our balance, using the chair still. One leg, the standing leg, a little bent in the knee, right? The leg that's grounded, supported, a little bent. The other leg is lifted up in the air. Whatever you want to do with that leg is fine. Hold on to the chair, posture, core. I know I sound like a broken record with that posture, but it's important. Your core is everything, especially when it comes to balance. Work on your balance. If you can let go for a moment, great. Re-grab it if you start to lose balance. Now, if you don't feel comfortable using one hand, you can definitely do two. And hold on to it all the same. But you still pay attention to the shoulders, the core, balancing. Now from here, you can play with one hand grabbing while the other hand releases, and you can alternate between the left and right hand letting go of the chair. And that's how you progress to eventually letting go completely with just one arm or one hand. Let's go to the other side. We're almost there. Posture, shoulders up and back, pulling the stomach, pulling the belly button, a little bend in the knee on the standing leg. Challenge your balance by letting go. Either you're holding on with two and letting go one at a time, or you're holding on with one and you let go and re-grab. And that's how you work with it. And then of course the ultimate challenge is just not using your hands at all, but still being mindful of the posture, the core, the knee, a little bent on the grounded leg. It helps to have something to stare at, a focal point. Now, there has to have been one side that was more problematic or more troublesome than the other. For me, it's my left. Let's go to your weaker side, the side that gave you the most trouble. Let's finish with that side. So the theory, maybe not the theory, but the application here is we finish with the weaker side and we do a little extra work on that weaker side to help it catch up to the dominant, stronger side. So most times we're right side dominant and we're better balanced on the right leg. For me, you can see my left is a little off. It's more challenging for me than my right. So we're doing extra work on the weaker side to help catch it up to the stronger side. So that's the technique or the application to this type of training where you do extra sets on the weaker side, extra work, extra time on the weaker side to help catch it up to the stronger, more stable side. And remember the basics. Sitting tall or standing tall, core engaged, posture's back. About another 10 seconds and then we'll be all done. Nice and easy, step down. And that is it, guys and girls. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you need a breather, have a seat, take a break, get a little water, then take off and go wherever you need to go. But we are all done. Thanks so much for joining today. I hope you found that workout useful. Continue to do it maybe every other day or every few days or maybe once a week, whatever it may be, but definitely try to do it as often as you can. All right, guys, take care. And until next time, be careful, stay safe. All right, guys, bye.